James Bond's a really good property, but like Kyle said, I don't think they're getting the most out of it. That's how I feel about Doctor Who too. I really enjoyed a lot of Doctor Who, but feel like they've fallen off lately. Just not quite getting it.
It got so goddamn woke. It's like what does Doctor Who needs to be like a black cross-dressing like furry. He is a black cross-dressing man. I mean,
what?
Yeah,
I thought he was like a time traveling scientist or something.
He's a gay black guy now. He might be cross-dressing. He was in his tidy whities when I saw him. So.
In a dress when I saw him.
He was in a dress.
Yeah. I mean, I can't
just calling it like I see it.
It's too much for me. It's too much for me, and I'm tolerant on this shit.
Let's see. Doctor Who in a dress.
If, I'm not anti-gay, but it's like if you make the new Star Trek and the captain is a black man wearing a dress, I'm gonna have questions. Although they do have these dresses, these skirts or whatever in Star Trek that are like pop up every now and then, and the dude's thighs, they're showing way too much thigh. It's super cringy. So that actually would be kind of funny.
They're showing way too much thigh.
It's way too much thigh. That's Doctor Who right there.
Really?
Yeah,
that's Doctor Who.
Yeah, I thought that was Tupac for a second.
Eat your heart out, Matt Smith.
But that picture, does it have anything to do with Doctor Who?
That looks like he's in Elle magazine.
No idea.
Doing a little pirouette there.
Why are they making him do this?
What do you mean? You think you have to make that dude do that? You think he struck that pose at gunpoint or something?
I bet he wanted to look cool and they wouldn't let him.
I bet that man's got an artistic background you wouldn't believe. He loves dressing in dresses and doing little dances, clearly. And I'm not hating on him. There's nothing wrong with dressing in dresses and doing little fucking dances. We need artists. But, I like Matt Smith's Doctor Who, and he was just a dude that threatened people with death and then used a sonic screwdriver to save the universe and stuff. It was cool. But then they made it a woman, and then they made a black man in a dress, and then I quit watching.
I was even okay with a woman. Like, I was okay with the concept of a woman. I didn't think it was well executed.
Like, woman can't be a doctor.
Yeah. It's got to be a man. It's got to be a man who's not wearing a dress. He's got to have a lab coat on. I have to trust him.
It never goes well when they do the female version of something instead of doing their own thing. Is there any version of that, of like the white version or the male version of a successful other thing, like us going in and like stealing somebody's thing, the way that Ghostbusters or any number of products get made?
I'm trying to think of even one example.
Maybe Elvis.
But
I mean,
Eminem.
Then again, I don't know if anyone cared about the songs Elvis took before he took them.
Fair.
Yeah.
He had a lot of gospel back in the day, too.
It was when he was up there jitterbugging around that people were like, all right, I'm down with this. So, yeah. I don't know. Do you have one in mind, Kyle? Like, it seemed like you had an idea.
I think my point was it just doesn't fucking happen because
it's a one-way street. I can't think of any. But I'm not very clued in on movies and TV.
And I always get mad about that that black guy who stole the Confederate boat. And then
you get mad at him? You wish he hadn't stolen that boat?
Well, yeah, they should have made him pay, They should have caught him after the war, like we know you did this for the Union, Mr. Smalls, but stealing is stealing, and we have no tolerance. No, his name's Robert Smalls. Robert Smalls, in the midst of the Civil War, this black male slave commandeered a Confederate ship, delivered its 16 black men, women, and children passengers from slavery to freedom, and then from slave to sailor to congressman. Like that's his storyline. Like a slave stole a Confederate battleship.
You're mad about this? This guy sounds awesome.
No. I'm mad that they don't make a movie about that instead of the black women who did the math for the moon landing, or like the black mailman.
I misunderstand. You started off with they needed to make him pay.
Well,
we would have won the war if it wasn't for that guy.
If it wasn't for that guy, we would have won that conflict.
That was my grandpappy's boat. He commandeered. He stole grandpappy's boat.
That is so much of a better story than like the heroic women who delivered mail. For the next 2 hours, sit back, relax, and try to stay awake as we take you through the excitement. And it's like, I imagine that movie constantly, like a guy bloody coming in on the side of the screen being like, it's a bloodbath out there. We need more men. And then he leaves and there's just some woman like stacking paper or something. And it's like, oh man, this sucks. Where's the board?
A good black movie about like a good inspirational black movie to me. Men of Honor. He's got Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert Robert De Niro, and it's about Carl Brashear, the first Black Navy master diver. A master diver is a whole other thing. It's a very special thing, and of course they treated him like shit through diving school, like just shit. There's this the final thing they have to do. They send you into first of all, the diving suits back then looked like a ridiculous apparatus from the 1800s.
Was this guy a good swimmer before the?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He grew up in the country, and like every day after work, he'd run and like jump into the pond, and like this guy was
He was the guy. Okay.
Yeah.
The
And
Jackie Robinson of diving.
they send him down in the cold water to do their final exam. And what they do is they send down this pipe, this flange. It's two or three pieces of pipe that have to be, you put O-rings between them and then bolt them together. And there's lots of bolts that go around like some Mario stuff. And they have to, and then they lower a tool bag down to you. You're down in the water and you have to put this thing together in the cold, dark water. And then when you're done, you tug the rope and they hoist up your flange, inspect that it's completed, and then they hoist you up. Well, when they go to give Carl his bag of tools, they cut it and they toss it into the water. And so all these little O-rings are just going everywhere, all the little bolts. He was down there for hours and hours until he did it. He has a crazy true story. He lost his leg recovering a nuclear weapon that we dropped in the water in the Pacific, I think. There was a cable snapped, tore his leg off, and they wouldn't let him dive anymore with a prosthetic leg. And in the court, there's a scene in the court proceeding where he stands with his full diving suit, which is like several hundred pounds, with the fake leg. But the fake leg, the leg he's wearing that day wasn't his good leg, so he has to do it with one leg because his fake leg will snap. Puts any weight on it.
Oh, that's a good leg day if I've never heard one.
Just to stand up in like naval court to prove that he can still do the job, and he wins his job back. It's an amazing story. It's great. Really good movie.
That guy sounds cool.
Yeah, that does sound like a bit. Sounds way better than the silly movies, the ham-handed ones.
Two Scoops of Valor.
Is that what it's called?
Well, that's my fictional one that I want to make. It's the story of the black guy who operated the ice cream barge in the Pacific in World War II.
Ooh, Two Scoops of Valor.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a real story? A black man bringing a little bit of mirth to our boys overseas?
It's based on a true story.
Okay. So no.
Well, we did have two enormous ice cream ships in the Pacific to provide ice cream to the troops in the Pacific. But I don't know if it was a heartwarming story about a black man like captaining it and doing anything heroic. But I think that's just the type of story that they would do. I thought that story where the black lady's doing the math for NASA was crazy. I made it like 40 minutes through that movie. And like the biggest stressor was they didn't have a bathroom near enough to the room where they did the calculation.
What?
And there was this big moment where I can't remember who it was. Tom Hanks or somebody's like, these ladies can use the bathroom on this side of the building. And it's like the music's swelling like with this heartwarming moment. It's like, what the fuck? Didn't they just do math? Aren't they just human calculators?
For the last time, it's not because they're black. It's because one of them is, we're not going to say who, is absolutely blowing it up in there. It's despicable. I can't believe it. You know,
the bathroom should be like dependent on usage and such. Like, I don't know, in the men's bathroom at a sports event, like the women's line like goes out the door and the men's is kind of moving along quickly. Maybe they need to have twice as many women's bathroom. I worked in Cisco IT. There was hardly a need for a female bathroom at all in that organization. Like they should have, like, understand your population.
Should be.
I think maybe a bathroom for number ones and a bathroom for number twos.
Yeah, but you know what you would get? You would get cowardly, I'm too afraid to admit I poop people who would be stinking up the pee bathroom because they'd be like, I don't want people to know that I'm shitting. Oh, it's just urinal.
It's all urinals. It's three walls of urinals when you walk in.
You're talking about a sports like arena.
Oh, fuck the urinals. Do the trough. You ever piss in one of those troughs at a
not a fan.
That's classless. Like at least, yeah, I don't want other
urinals maintaining spacing.
That's a community event. It brings people closer together.
That's a community event. Everybody's cocks out, bro.
Fuck the trough. Make a sink, and we all gather in a circle. If you want to bond, I want to see dick.
At least, like when you have your own urinal, like the thought that there are pee particles splashing back on your jeans is just kind of like you can put it out of mind. But if you're standing there at a trough and other people are peeing right next to you, you're just thinking like, there's pee particles all over the place. That guy's spraying, and it's okay if it's my pee. But now this guy's pee is getting on my jeans. No,
I'm just thinking I really had to piss. That's why I'm at this trough. I'm glad I made it. You know what I mean? Last time I pissed at a trough was at a drag race, and I was about to piss outside in front of people. I had to go so bad. I remember it distinctly. It was awful.
You just have one fond memory of a trough.
Yeah, I only pissed in a trough once. That one time. Yeah.
Counterpoint to the urinal. Fucking how often do you see people actually flush those things?
The urinal, unless
every time.
I don't want to touch it.
Really?
The like metal bar.
Most are automatic.
But I wash my hands afterwards, and
most are automatic these days. I don't touch anything in a bathroom though. I don't even touch the sink.
Well,
I like it when the door has that little door handle for your foot on the bottom. You can just open it with that.
I do. Good. That was one of the few good holdovers from the COVID times. Is now there's a lot more bathroom doors that have the foot pull instead of doing what you used to do if you wanted to not touch it, which is like keep one of those wet paper towels, grab it with the wet paper towel, throw the wet paper towel in the direction of the trash can. If you miss,
slip out the door while it's closing.
Slip out the door while
like
it's
a
closing.
Ninja.
Yeah.
I don't even bother throwing it in there. I leave the paper towel sort of clinging to that door handle, and I just let go as I enter the establishment. I'm gone.
That's savagery.
I didn't get sick once through COVID. I was so careful. Every time going to that gym, I didn't touch a thing. I was in and out of there like a surgeon, hands up in the air, like getting my hand sanitizer on the way in, hand sanitizer on the way out.
I was at I think I was playing Tarkov during COVID. Yeah. And I started quarantining like 6 weeks before the breakout.
Yeah,
me too.
I didn't go anywhere.